This is a thought that we have to keep in our mind and our focus during these particular days and times.
Got to reach her. Be she blonde, brunette, or naughty dread. Gotta get greener solar consciousness encoded in her head. Got to feel her give guidance and protection to heal her from deep dark cocoa to vanilla. She's our spirit conscious sealer. Got to feel her, got to heal her. Our first teacher, got to reach her. Or that Babylon system will beat her in the womb, where she will be divine order or self-deified, individualized, doom and gloom.
Oh, Papa needs his coconut. I could carry it. I just.
Just hold my coconut there for a while. Let me just take a few minutes and talk with you. Some vibration inside of I, for some reason, is calling upon me telling you how proud I am of you. We're trying to touch a sacred few of the few when you were in school, and you had no idea of this reality. You had no idea of your soul journey. Little children, how old were you at that time?
I think maybe like 10.
Yeah, a little 10-year-old sitting in a crowd, and we're giving you all some song and some dance and etc. Something entirely new, as so many people have said, because of the way we dress, the way we live, the way we look, the way we act. And what was very obvious is, was any of that of interest to you?
It was, yes.
How about the eating?
I didn't know anything about the eating, but the drumming and the dancing. It was very nice and interesting.
But here's the reason why I'm proud. I'm proud because right at this particular point in time, as we are existing upon this, our Mother Earth, we're facing some situations and some challenges that is completely beyond the mindset of so many. And I'm looking at the fact that we must resurrect from this toxic parallel that has gotten us completely torn from our soul-to-soul relationship. As man, he and she, soul-to-soul relationship from our offsprings, soul-to-soul relationship from each other, what we call a common bond relationship. We're talking about relationships that will formulate divine socioeconomic family community order. You know how precious the female is? Shayla, do you have any idea? Do you know that you're the birthplace of life? And that nature of opposition has focused all of this attention on demoralizing you, demeaning you, making you appear in your own consciousness and the consciousness of those around to be inferior. So many who have encountered us, so many young souls. You know a few, you know we've seen a few of the few. We've seen those who are friends to you, those who over a period of time looking at you emerging from a young child, initially coming into this vibration and staying focused. You've had those vibrations where the males are attempting to attract you and pull you off into their own parallel, which is so terrible because they pull you into a parallel that ignore the presence, the essence of your glory as the feminine. And what they bring to you will be what you will produce and put back out again to go forward and multiply, either in divine order, toxic disorder. And this is what's going on. Yet and still, regardless of all the approaches, regardless of how those family members and others have tried to do their best to discourage you from this nature that's completely different than the status quo. What has been shown over time and what's been shown right now within this 2023 movement is that your decision and your choice was a very wholesome choice, a very wholesome decision. The reason is, when you look back on all of those feminists who were of your age, who were 10 years old, 11, 12, 13 at that time, the mass majority of their lives are so entangled in oppositional vibrations of thought and reasoning and action. Some have claimed that they've achieved some level of success, yet they're very emotionally destabilized. What I'm proud of you is that you've maintained a steadfast focus that is so beautiful. A steadfast focus on resurrecting divine socioeconomic family community order. How I'm seeing you and how you were it's amazing. I was just watching you out in the garden. I remember the times you wanted to be in the garden, but the focus and the intensity and all the different things that come through the DNA lineages had you off base like I don't know what, and I'm proud of you for the fact that nothing has been able to twist your head into another direction. Although those from the external environment do their level best, because misery love company, don't want to feel or look at the misery that they're having. That status quo has bent and broken the female to no end. I mean, you're a very beautiful young sister. You know that. And I'm going to constantly tell you that as my daughter. How you feel about the fact that you have left a world that is entirely different, you know, with the glitter and the glamour and all of those things about, and you're out here in the jungle, rainforest jungle, out here with the snakes and the jaguars and all the other different things that's walking around. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel very, very good about that. It actually feels very nice and very like clean to be in a like a wholesome environment.
I mean, how do you compare the state and conditions of just walking around with all that mud that you get on your feet sometimes, you know? You digging into the ground to pull up some of that kale or some of that lettuce or some of the other various things that you have learned to enjoy so much, them herbs and the different spices. I mean, you used to be able to run over to the store somewhere, I guess the supermarket or somewhere, and pick up you some of those things that's been sitting in that jar for I don't know how long, and you don't even know if there's much life left in it. I mean, how are you feeling about that as a state and condition of a lifestyle?
It's a beautiful feeling to know that you could just walk outside and you have all your food just right there.
But you don't get a chance to go and party, you know? You don't get a chance to go and get you a drink. I mean, that's what they do out there. You don't have a chance to go get you some smoke. You don't have a chance to put on your little thing showing your hips and your thighs all the way up and flopping it around, and the males sniffing all around you, and you feeling, oh, he wants me, and all those different things. It's a strange parallel. I see you whenever we out and we're playing, we see some of the males in the environment that you're familiar with coming up, and I hear them sometimes. They're like, oh, you know, call you, oh, Sheila, you're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And then they actually say these things to you. You're so beautiful. Wow, you need to come back out here. What do you think about that?
Well, all I can say is that I'm good right where I'm at.
You good right where you at?
Yes.
You don't want to go party, girl?
No.
I mean, look, Belize City, you can get down to Belize City, you can get over to New York. I think somebody was trying to get you to come to Florida. You know, you are California. So, I mean, don't you feel the vibration that you want to just go kind of fantasize and just kind of get into life as it's defined by, you know, that joy of self? Do you ever kind of get to that vibration?
No. At one point in time, when I used to be out there, yes. But when I came and I saw like how different it was, how soulful it was here, like I have no desire for that anymore. I feel like I just want to connect to my soul, all the things that we're supposed to be doing here on earth, away from all the fantasies and the delusions and illusions.
You were telling me the other day about a young sister who you had found out that she had got into an encounter, that she wasn't one of those kind who always run around trying to get men to chase her or trying to flirt and etc., and that she was quiet and she kept a sense of order. And you said that she was in a circumstance, a situation, and she got wooed. And then when getting wooed, that means she got convinced, and she decided to go spend the night with this young man. I don't want to call him a predator, because to him, he's just doing what he's been groomed and conditioned to do. You know, actually, what the male has been groomed and conditioned to do, and he don't even know it, is to be a stud. He don't go for the idea that he's going there and he's going to drop a life energy into this feminine, and it's going to affect her for the rest of her life, and that actually it can affect the next generation off of that seeding. You don't even think about that. She was talking about how she thought about it, and that she said she wished she had had the opportunity of being inside of an environment like this where she could be protected, and that she was talking about the vibration that she just innocently laid down, and she did not know that he was not going to fulfill his promises. See, the promises are raps and rhetoric to do what has been psychologically groomed and conditioned into the male to do, and that is to go get that conquest. That's the nature of the warlord culture, and those who have been born, bred, and spoon-fed off of that, that's what they have. So you were then saying that now she has a child. I forgot how old you said the child was, or she was about to have one, and her whole life turnaround. I think you said she's on her own, and your level and degree of compassion and sensitivity and your communications with I was so touching, because I have how many daughters? Now, all of these daughters then are required by natural and innate order to be within a divine union. A union of masculine and feminine energy, where masculine is giving divine guidance and protection, and the feminine is giving divine nurturing affection. Not in those relationships out there where the masculine is giving a good rap so he can conquest and get between her thighs, and she thinks that if she go ahead and give all that she have, that in fact maybe he really do love her, and that he's going to safeguard her, and she's going to feel a part of that masculine feminine relationship, because that's innate in the female. You feel that innate vibration within you?
Yes.
It's just something that don't seem to be comprehended by the male who have been twisted into that monotheistic nature of the warlord syndrome. It's something that's innate within the female, where she, from her glory, from her essence, she's communal. She's communal by nature. Have you begun to realize that? Mm-hmm. And the male, because he's been kind of a renegade, he's self by nature. And have you noticed that the males cannot stand it when they hear out talking about the self-deified individualism concept? They can't stand it, because self do not want to see self any other way than what self want to see self. And self want to see self as more conscious than the others, more giving than the others, more, and so he can feel that sense of glory, and he can feel like all of the females want him. And then within that vibration, he can get a chance to voice his choice and glorify over his conquest. Whereas the feminine, it's almost like she got them one-shot ordeals. I mean, when you really look at it, she's trying to somehow make the right decision to actually select a male to be with that's going to safeguard her in life, that's going to do what he's supposed to be doing, guiding and protecting. And that knowing for a fact that there is no eldership that's been given to any of the males primarily to learn how to guide and protect. So as a result, they go on their own self-determined guidance and protection. And when he get frustrated, irritated, when things get on his nerve, like a rolling stone, he's gone. What do you think about that? How do you think we should focus our energies at this point in time?
I feel like it is very important. It's very, very important that, like, our youths, it's very important for them to know that, because that's just the reality, that's the only way that we could actually move forward and move away from all the toxic.
What do you think about those parents? You know, I hear a lot of the parents are saying, you know, that the children, they should be, you know, within the status quo. I give thanks that your mother has shown a sense of support for you. I've heard you talk about your younger sister, and you don't want this to happen to her, and you don't want that to happen to her, and talk about some of your friends, and you don't want this to happen. And it's so. What is it that you think we can do? What should we do? Because if we do anything, we're looked upon as an occult. Just planting our food and eating and just doing those things that keep a peaceful state of mind. Those who are of that toxic parallel nature of thought and reason, those attitudes, those values, those behaviors, and those beliefs have been groomed and conditioned generation after generation after generation through degeneration, assimilating, integrating, and adopting a nature that opposed his and her existence. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell the truth about it. Somehow have come to think, reason, and believe that they're worshiping a nature energy that satisfies their existence. When in truth and reality, they're worshiping a nature of energy, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that diametrically oppose their holistic living existence as a sun child.
So as we speak, we seek to touch the heart and soul of humanity, making it overstood that we know how to submit to this insanity. The only way we can rise higher, divine femininity, we have to inspire, consume from the fruits of the tree of life within a sacred garden culture paradise. Yes, we got to reach out,
'cause our nurturing energy is our first teacher.